Oh man, Pezza, this one's going to be a tough one. There's been so many happy moments, so many great days, so many back and forths, to and froms, ebb and flows, hustle and bustle, tussles, tug of wars throughout these Ashes so far. But that was just absolute. I actually felt emasculated for most of that. I felt humiliated. I checked any citizenship tests. I saw, can I get some Portuguese in me? And by that I mean just order a Nando's.
Which some people believe is a citizenship test.
I went for mild because on my palate it's a little bit too spicy if I go anything higher than that. That was absolute sheer destruction. As I said, it was emasculating. It was humiliating. It was extremely frustrating watching that. We just done a thing with the BBC before, and just on that, I referenced the 2010 11 Ashes where we just couldn't get Cook and Trott out. We just couldn't get them out, and we just bowled short and at the hip, and it was nauseating. Before I bring you in, I should say this episode is brought to you by Budgy Smuggler. Use the code goodareas at checkout in either Australia or the UK, budgysmuggler.com or budgysmuggler.com.au for free shipping. Use the code goodareas. It was a fucking tough watch, man. That was a tough watch to be an Australian fan.
Oh yeah, and it's hello England. I think, just in terms of tuning in. Hello. Really? Shropshire? How wonderful. Yeah, mate, it's Ralph Wiggum. I'm in danger. Yeah, we got BAZBALLED fucking hard.
We got BAZBALLED.
We got BAZBALLED hard. We got dizzied. We got spun around. We had our pants pulled down. We're getting hazed at university. The fire extinguishers in full use. I don't know where I am. I'm calling for mum and dad. I've had half a bottle of vodka. My stomach will soon be pumped, and that's BAZBALL in full flow, full effect, led by its.
I've got a parking cone up my ass.
Got a parking cone up my ass. I'll have to complain to the dean at some point, but I'll have to also consider the political implications of doing so vis-a-vis future employment prospects. That is the effect of BAZBALL, because the guy who did it, his dad is he's actually
the dean's nephew.
His dad's high up at KPMG, and I want to work there. Because you get a bottle of Piper champagne when you get some. Anyway, we got annihilated today, and all of the compounding effects were there. Like, not only was Zach Crawley just standing up, getting some nice stuff off his hip, and then destroying through the covers, and also through inside edges to fine leg. Then moving briskly from 50 to 126 balls, and before that putting on 120 with Moeen Ali. Then you get the head-scratching bowling changes, the head-scratching fielding positions, and everyone's calling our skipper Pat Cummings now. And and now the questions over selections and the lack of a spinner will happen. And it's like this game's going to be a race against the weather. There ain't no race. And then even more humiliatingly, Stokes and Brooke decided to drop anchor at the end of the day. It's like, I don't get it. What are you doing to us? Ben's like, I'm going to do you slowly, I'd like to be here tomorrow when I use that parking cone to, and you know the rest. So yeah, it's a day to remember for England, a day to remember for Zach Crawley. I've always rated him. I suppose we're onto the first thing now. I mean, I just wanted to sort of get out in front of that early, just to state that this is vindication for all of us who have always said that Zach Crawley is a very good player and should retain his place in the side. There are many of us. And he does have that thing, though, Crawley, because he's so tall, because it's tall runs, and he stands so upright on impact. the imperiousness is just really obvious and crippling mentally. That flourish of the bat. Nothing folds when he plays a shot. There's no impact of the velocity of the ball on him. He just stands there like it's a tennis ball and whacks. And yeah.
So much of I like this dichotomy that lives in my brain, and that's just a nice way of saying bipolar. In that, like,
so much
because my team, like, I want to control my team. When I look at all the the cricket happening through the lens of my team, and it's like, it was so frustrating because, like, there's just so many plays and misses early on. He's an opening batter in England, so this is what I mean. Like, he plays gloriously for probably his last 100 runs. That's pretty good, So, but there's just so much before then where it's just like, why the fuck are we bowling on his legs? There was a we're getting to the second thing. I don't want to dip into too much.
Let's just we're all over the shop anyway. I mean, look what they've done to us.
Yeah, but it's just like, there was one point where solar panel Pat Cummings changed the field 5 times in his own over, bowling over the wicket, around the wicket, 2 fly slips. It was completely lacking of any sort of any clear game plan, obviously. But then there's moments where it's just a little bit streaky. Obviously, Joe Wilson does his best to give him out, even though he hit him outside leg and missing. And this is like the fine margins nature of cricket anyway. That, fundamentally Cameron Green was out because the ball was clipping the stumps, and Joe Wilson gave that out. And then Cameron Green, ironically, is the bowler to Zach CRAWLEY, who then also is given out, and it's missing leg, very similar style of dismissal, I suppose. And then I don't think Cam Green was about to score 189 off in a run of ball, but like, there's just these moments where it's like, I think like all these innings he's nicked off outside off stump, and then it's like, well, should we bowl short to him? Should we bowl on his legs? He shuffles across anyway, but it was like, what the fuck are we doing? And then there's this element as well of like, CRAWLEY sort of epitomizes BAZBALLED a bit, and it's like, you pick these guys that, like, if they just come off, then you're going to win a game. And it's like, because he hasn't done it in 25 times since Pakistan, then it's like, well, he was due to do something. And he has played quite nicely so far in this series, though. I wouldn't say it's been electric. It wasn't anything like we saw today. But so I've had this like frustration as a fan, putting my fan hat on first, where it's like, oh, fucking hell, man. Like I know now he's going to miss out for the next 30 innings, but he single-handedly won the game. I mean, Australia are so far out of this game that, like, they are now fucking begging for rain, but they've fucked up yesterday and today so badly that rain probably isn't even in the equation anymore. It's so frustrating because, like, because now I start thinking about, mate, we're 2-0 up. Australia's a heading lead. They made 280 whatever, and they've got England 7 for 130. It's like, there's your opportunity, and you fucking did the same thing in India, in Delhi, when they also had a score. Then Axar Patel comes in at 7 for 120 and gets a score up to parity as well. So no lead there. It was very similar circumstances, and it's like, oh, it's the fucking Neely team again, man. It's the fucking Neely team. But at the same time, then CRAWLEY plays some of these shots, and I'm like, fucking hell, what a shot that is. So, I can walk and chew gum, but I don't want to walk and chew gum, man. I just want my team to win forever. Fucking hell. Thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts are how many Englishmen are sitting down with their penises out between thumb and forefinger watching that. That is, they are starting to see the salty Australian tears. Wow, it was very vulnerable, and I applaud you, sort of professionally for that. Yeah. I look, okay, all right. I'll try and match. I have felt the BAZBALLED has always been coming. I feel like that's
you have.
I've been
you
consistent
have, yeah.
for a long time. I feel like today was not this kind of... Today statistically will look like an aberration from what's come before, but I've felt like the damn walls have been close to breaking, at various points. Like I'm growing tired of England playing all the cricket all the time and Australia parking the bus preying on mistakes that have dried up as the series have gone on. Like England have iterated and finessed and improved and tightened, and Australia, I feel, has gone the other way. Australia started at Edgbaston like very definitely playing the tortoise and going, we will absorb, like Chris Rogers was saying, we'll fight fire with water. And that may have been right for those conditions. I mean, I thought they still kind of got away with it at Edgbaston, really, through an unlikely innings from Cummins, supported by Lyon. But Australia have gradually been drawn into the Bazball effect. They're batting in a more sort of skittish way at times. Their bowling is reactive. Their field places are reactive. They're waiting for England to make a mistake. Like it just feels to me like England gets to control each game. England gets to decide how they feel as a toddler on that day. Am I having a good day today, Daddy, or am I having a bad day today? And you'll just mop up the mess, and England's growing up. England's got school next year, and they're starting to show some maturity, and they're just getting better and better. And we need to read more parent books about how to deal with the next phase, like that. That's how I feel, and I just feel like today is while it was the dam walls broke and everything flowed forth, I just feel like it's been coming, and England have kind of deserved this kind of day with the like intrepid, enterprising cricket that they play, and Australia have deserved a day like today as well. I do think that it is like some cricketing god's response to a team that has been set up defensively in this game to prey on the scoreline and to prey on weather, and not to really address in any real terms what England is proposing, what kind of cricket they're playing. And so I think they're fully deserving of a day like today. And I also think Australia are fully deserving of a day like today as well. As I just feel like they've been hiding from what England are trying to do, and it caught up with them. Like, we've said before, England are come-off merchants, and then what happens if a couple of them come off, and that's what's happened. That's what's happened today. And Australia were just short, and really, Nathan Lyon has become a wonderful player in Australia, in the echelons of Australian cricket in the last couple of tests.
Yeah, I suppose Australia had some hope early with removing Duckett with a nice ball from Stark, a little bit of sideways movement there as well, and then Moeen Ali batted with great maturity and fluency, really, as he does when he scores his runs. He's a fucking fantastic guy to watch score runs for CSK, less so for England for me. But it's clips. He traditionally plays spin pretty well. I mean, he almost pulled one off Travis' head to Cummins, who lost it in the crowd. It didn't cost Australia too much at that point because, Cummins then did drop him 2 overs later, but then Usman Khawaja took a good catch. So I think it cost Australia maybe about 10 runs at the time, but it wasn't too bad a passage. But it was all the sort of signs were there for Australia with not being quite right. And again, you think about the selections for Australia were like, if you're going to bat deep and you're going to have Carey at 8, Stark 9, Cummins 10, you can't make 300 in the first innings because obviously the balance of the side relies on Australia making 450 in the first innings. 450 at the moment is still going to be unders, but that's just because one guy has just absolutely come off. And I can't think of any other language than just to say he's just come off. And that's kind of like the epitome of what Bazball or the enterprise of that kind of style of cricket is, really. Someone's going to come off. You pick 11 match wingers, someone's going to come off.
Mate, could I just say, it's even though Australia has just been made to look hapless today, I also think there's a lot of credit to England yesterday as well. Like it's not the first time that they have managed to extract way more from a deck than Australia has. We've joked before about favourable conditions, etc. But like they swing the ball, they seam the ball, and today, apart from Stark in the first over or two, Australia couldn't move it off the straight. They got 5 blokes that have an opportunity to do it, and they couldn't get it going. So, that's a credit to the skill of England's bowlers. It just means they deserve what they get. England, they're just playing. 100%, mate. They're just playing better cricket, and then their batters are batting in a manner that is like not permitting Australia to zero in either. So, I just think I think it's both England playing well. They're making Australia play badly as well.
I think I had the exact same thought this evening. Actually, it was just that like Wokes yesterday was just the absolute star, and he obviously takes 5. He gets the 5th wicket. He takes the final wicket here this morning, getting Hazelwood. They just this is why it's so hard to win away from home, and why it's such an achievement when teams do that, because England fundamentally, and proven in the last couple of games, have better players in England. Like they have better players in these conditions. They have better players to extract things out of the surface that Australian players don't. I don't want to catastrophise too much, because Australia could still win the series. And they
at which point all this will be a race
to do so. Exactly. Yeah. And Todd Murphy's going to take 10 for.
Because bringing him back he'll be happy to be brought back as well. It's like, we don't need you this game. I'm not sure you can do it, but can you come and get it done at the Oval? With the score at 2-2. Chuck the yellow ball there.
In a higher stakes game, that's right. Yes. I mean, it's absolutely credit to England. It's just like there's just extreme frustration where like they strike me that they're first of all getting more out of the deck because they're bowling a fucking better length. And they're bowling to a more set field. Anyway, England have played all the cricket in the last 1.5 test matches, and they are full value for winning this test match.
A couple of crow's feet contributions. A lot of them seem to be flowing in on Twitter. I don't know why, but Doc says crow's feet, Cam Green in the starting 11. Matthew Shotter says, my crow's feet is simply Harry Brook turning into Trafford for the last hour there. What was that about? Tom Grifter says, is this the best day ever? Dan G says, that variable bounce should be giving you boys crow's feet going into a second innings behind. Someone else has referred to Pat Cummins as Pat Cummings already. Was he rattled today? Thoughts on the pitch? Toby Hurst says crow's feet at the first time the Aussies picked a spinner in this test, being when they chose Vittori to do tonight's media round.
Not bad.
The key question, Connor writes in, a couple of others did as well. And actually, we may as well move to the Ask TGC. I'll go for the official one. Mm-hmm. The official Ask TGC comes from Robert Graham, who says, do you think we maybe saw England do it against your boys today? Did you like it? And then he said, P.S. I wanted to send this at tea, but I was too terrified about a collapse and it all coming back to bite me. That's a very, very kind way of saying it. And it was backed up by a lot of other people online. Yeah, Connor says any chance of the Aussies doing it against our boys, and so on and so forth. If you get onto that thread, do you think they did it against our boys today? And our boys being Cummins, Hazelwood, and Stark. And would you like to see them do it against our boys and variations on that?
Well, to be fair, Pez, as we know, those three actually don't play that much together. So I like to see them do it against Boland, Nisa, Murphy. I haven't seen them do it against Lyon, so that'll be interesting. Yeah.
What about the sixes and sevens and conversations in between these tests now? I mean, obviously, I fully hope for Manchester rain, but it's like the fifth test is like we're going to see Maxwell, Nisa, and Murphy in there. Everything will have to give way.
Yeah. Can Jai Richardson get flown over? Do you think in any way? I was actually surprised that England didn't declare, and I was wondering if that's part of Stokes' learning in this series after declaring in the first innings at Edgbaston. I wonder if that was in the back of his head. It is supposed to rain on Saturday and Sunday, the last 2 games. I think a bit of rain tomorrow as well. I'm not sure. I obviously don't. I've got no idea how much it's going to rain or what, but. There is. You would suggest there is probably finite time. I think there probably is enough time to win the game with just one innings. Maybe they just think they're just going to bat big one innings and bowl Australia out, and we lose by an innings. Maybe that's how they're going to do it. Maybe that's how they're going to fuck us. But I just wondered. I was a little bit surprised they didn't continue teeing off and try and get 100 in front and bowl tonight. But
maybe the forecast has improved.
Yeah.
How much more time do you think they need, England? Or from an Australian perspective, how much of the rest of the game needs to be washed out to finish on a season?
I think England can win the game in a day. I think if England teed off tomorrow morning, got 150 in front, are Australia going to last the day? Are Australia going to last 2 sessions? I mean, I say that because I've seen it before. I've seen Australia rolled in a session before, so in England. So I think the wicket's a little bit truer than that. Obviously, the one that gets Joe Root literally rolls, and the one that Green gets CRAWLEY stays under as well, under expected bounce. Don't think the wickets are that bad just yet, but Moeen Ali will play a part, you'd think. And Australia now is so far behind the 8 ball that like they're caught between blocking out for rain and trying to score, so England have to bat again. Fucking hell, what a position!
I'm thinking like, how much cricket do we need to lose? Like, is Australia safe if we lose a day and a half to rain, which never happens in cricket in 2023?
Yeah, a full day and a half. Yeah, I think we're getting close. But. Mate, this morning honours were even, and at the end of the day, because of one amazing innings, Joe Root batted really well as well. We're like, can it rain for a month?
Oh,
fucking hell!
Yeah, it's it's here. The full BAZBALLED demon has fucking visited upon us, and we are cowering with a cone up our ass.
See you guys tomorrow morning for more anal play.